Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first coffee talk of the year, right?
First one.
So, kind of the format for those who are new to us, whether you're a sixth grade family or whether you're new to Holliston, we try to do some periodic coffee talks, these kind of virtual settings over the course of the year. We've kind of been, over the last several years, we've kind of adjusted our format for doing that. And this year's no exception. We're going to try kind of some more like 15-minute short sessions over some very specific topics, and then kind of increase the frequency that we have it. If you aren't able to kind of catch all of it, this is basically the next day or the day after, whenever we kind of get it loaded, is captured on our school website for eternity, I guess. But is available to kind of view that as well. And one of the major critiques that we've gotten is the longer that these sessions are, the harder they are to kind of like chunk your way through and figure out the things that you want. As no one's going to sit down. We started a couple years ago and did it for an entire hour, and I imagine no one really kind of sat there and rewatched it for an entire hour to find the things that they want. So 15 minutes is kind of where we are. I am David Jordan. I'm the principal here at the middle school, and
I'm Jess Beatty, the assistant principal here at the middle school.
And we're in, this is our network room. This is a room where we serve several students with significant needs. It's not a space that most parents would get experience with, but I thought, based on kind of what we've done over the last few virtual coffee talk sessions, is just kind of give everybody a taste of the types of spaces and the places that we have here at Adams Middle School. If you would see in here, and the views that you've got in here, is you've got a variety of different stations throughout the room where students can have some different experiences and a variety of different topics throughout the course of their day. We've also got some different adaptive technologies that are available to all of our students. It's definitely a very engaging space where we're I feel like as a district are on the kind of the cutting edge of meeting the needs of students. So this is Brittany Tufts, who's the teacher who's in this space. This is a new space for her. We had a conversation with her last year about what kind of space in the building would kind of, one is like centrally located. We're right across from the cafeteria. Feels like it is immersed in part of the entire school and meets kind of the needs that she has for the students that she serves. So here we are. But to kind of start, I wanted to kind of highlight a recent visitor we had in the school. Yeah, we had the Commissioner of Education. He's the new Commissioner of Education. His name's Jeff Riley, or Commissioner Riley. He came, I think he's on kind of like a Commonwealth tour, getting around to the different districts, and he's visiting kind of one school and a variety of different districts in the Commonwealth. And he came to Adams Middle School, got to a couple classes in the sixth grade, and then met with a group of very bright eighth grade students and teachers in the tech ed room. Our students did a great job. They were asked a variety of different questions, and they even pushed back on the commissioner as well and asked some questions as well. But I was very happy by his visit. He had some great things to say around what his efforts around kind of reducing the length of the MCAS and how to boost funding in arts as well. So he said all the right things. New commissioner. We're hoping for the best. So thank you to him for coming to see us. Next, we had a new thing that we brought in this year is kind of and I'll let Jessica talk a little bit about it, but start with that hello. It's out of Sandy Hook.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started the year off just really trying to push a more inclusive model, and so we partnered with the Sandy Hook Promise. That one of their initiatives, they have many initiatives, focuses on decreasing social isolation. So making sure that all of our students feel inclusive, that they're included, they feel like they have someone they can talk to, someone they can sit with. And so we we started the week, so it was called Start with Hello Week. We had a speaker from the Sandy Hook Promise come out and meet with all 3 grades. So we met at each grade level, and she talked about the importance of including others, that it's easy to just start with hello, which is the kickoff. And she had them practice ways that they could talk with people they don't know or are not as familiar with, and really including them. And so then we carried that over into the lunches throughout the last week of September. And this is a national initiative, so it was nice to see on Twitter different school districts doing different things. The first thing that we did, the kids got a real kick out of, was hello music. So we put together a little musical montage of all the songs you can think of with the word hello in it. And in fact, had many of our kids singing along with some oldies but goodies, and they really got a kick out of it. And it really just brought a nice positive feel to the cafeteria. We also did some homeroom seating, which was helpful in terms of the kids don't realize that they don't know everybody in their grade. So connecting them with kids on their team and getting them to talk to each other. We did some games with conversation starters and handed out some Start with Hello bracelets, and got them to just ask each other some funny, silly questions that we had in the middle of the table. And another day we also had bulletin boards where they could share some inspirational quotes on one, and then on the other was really giving us some ideas on how they would include somebody that maybe they didn't know or that were new to Adams, and just giving some quotes on those bulletin boards that we were able to share out with others. So it was a great kickoff to the start of the year. It really got, I felt like really got Adams started off in a positive direction, and we'll look to build upon that each year, because that is a set week each year in September. That's a nationally recognized initiative.
We've got, and Jess will chime in on a lot of this, but we've got a lot of new things kind of happening around social emotional needs of kids, really specifically like social emotional learning. Start with hello is a lot in that light. For those who aren't familiar, at Sandy Hook, that was the Newtown shooting at the elementary school a few years back, and out of that, some different nonprofits have been created, specifically like this one being the Sandy Hook Promise, to kind of bring in that kind of start with hello, which is just the simple concept of kind of building that basic relationship and kindness with others, and where that goes. Kind of aligned to that is, we've done a lot of work trying to adjust and modify, start and then adjust and modify our advisory, with the goal of kind of having at least one place where you or teachers can connect with one, or students can connect with like one staff member in this small group of 10 students, and have them for 3 years, and kind of meet with them regularly, and kind of build those really strong relationships there. Kind of new this year, as far as that adjustment to our advisory, is we're doing a lot of work around kind of a service learning model, more action-based model. So and on a really small level, so it might be something as simple as our kids, during an advisory, walking around and putting like basic messages of encouragement on lockers, or cleaning up a hallway, or
we have a few that are doing some nice things around helping out the local humane society, or collecting things for the local food pantry. A lot of building based projects, like Mr. Jordan's indicating, to help them feel connected and really care about the environment that they're learning and living in all day. So there are some advisories that are adopting certain hallways and creating posters with kind messages, and making sure we're keeping them clean, and really caring for them. So we have a lot of good advisory work going on.
And we have a few events coming up too. We've got, so 7th grade has got a couple screenings that they've got. Mood Check, which is kind of a suicide depression screening that we do, is coming up in the next couple months. SBIRT, which is kind of a drug and alcohol screening, is also in 7th grade. That's coming up here in a month. Our counselors are hosting kind of a counselors night. What's kind of like the main idea around that?
Yep, so they've put together a great night that is really sort of a round table with parents on what parents need to know. And so it's really there for parents to come and ask questions. They'll be presenting some material to you, but really a nice open discussion on things to look out for in terms of social media, or if there are concerning behaviors that maybe you're seeing at home, or different presentations that your teenagers showing you throughout the year. What do you do and what can you say? And just a really helpful night in terms of interventions and strategies that they can share with you as parents that can best help guide you through the adventure of middle school with your student. And that'll be next Wednesday night, held in our library.
Additionally, we've got our Metro West health risk survey that's given out every 2 years.
Yeah, every 2 years, yeah.
That we give out that gives us some meaningful data, survey data on, like, are we, with some of these initiatives that we're putting forth, are we meeting the needs of kids with them? What we were hoping, is it happening? But also kind of giving some insights on some of the things that our kids are struggling with.
Right, and a lot of that great data every 2 years, like Mr. Jordan said, gives us things that came out of that in previous years, just like the Student Stress Task Force, which then catapulted us into really this advisory initiative and getting students more connected. So it's that Metro West Health Risk Survey will be given to kids in the entire building, grades 6 to 8. And it's a really helpful tool for us to look at mental health, to look at physical activity, to look at connectedness, student stress. So it really looks at the whole child and gives us some really valuable information, and it is done across all districts in the Metro West area. So it's a nice comparable data too, to see where Holliston's landing in comparison to other districts.
Do you want to say anything about the safety assemblies as well?
Yes. Yep. So we, as you may or may not know, we have Officer Woods, our school resource officer, is now with us full time, which is really great. And so he is split between our building and the 2 lower elementary buildings throughout the week. And so he is going to be helping us this year to continue our safety drills, and we're going to start off with a safety assembly. So this year at the end of October, so it'll be the 25th and the 26th, he, along with Chief Cassidy, our fire chief, and some police officers, will be meeting with each grade in the auditorium first to begin with. This will be our first safety drill of the year, where they'll talk to kids about, concerns they have about overall school safety. What do they do in case of an emergency, in case of, the intruder response drills that we've done. So what do they do in those emergencies should they arise, and talking a lot about behavior and following the lead of the teacher and making good decisions. And so those will be on the 25th and 26th. And I'll send out more information about those in the Rams News. And then in January, we'll hold our second drill, which will be the same as what we practiced last year. So students will be, it'll be a typical day. They'll be in the classroom, and Mr. Jordan or myself will get on the PA system and read some scenarios, and they will talk through with their teachers on what would we do if this was an actual event. And the police officers, along with myself and Mr. Jordan, will circulate through the building and go into classrooms and sort of engage the students in answering questions. And then our final drill, also the same as last year, we will do in late spring, which will be more of a live drill where we will again get on the PA system. The students and teachers will know in advance that this is going to be happening, and they will determine at that point, based on the information we read over the PA system, whether they choose to stay in their location that they are, because that feels the safest to them with the information they have, or they actively get up and leave the building, and they know that they go directly out to our field, and we brainstorm and talk to them about why that was the best solution or determination in terms of the scenario that we read. So Officer Woods will really be running those drills along with Mr. Jordan and myself. And those will continue to provide information to you throughout the year on when those are coming and how those will be laid out.
Well, we do have a couple questions, so we might go a little bit over time here to answer some of these questions. But And again, there's in the link that's in the Rams news, there is a form for you to be able to post any questions, and we can answer those live. You can post them early, or you can post them during the podcast. It's fine, and we can answer some of those questions. So one is just kind of giving an update on PowerSchool. We are kind of in kind of our learning infancy stage of PowerSchool. All grades are entered into PowerSchool right now. Parents should be able to have their login and be able to view all of their students' grades. Like any year, it's not based on the system. Teachers may be at different points as far as how much they're putting that in, and just kind of letting Jess and I know where that falls for sure. But we have our first progress report that goes out October 15th, and what that'll look like will really just be an email from us to notify you to go into PowerSchool. When we get to the actual report card, when the term ends, we are actually going to push a kind of PDF report card to parents via their email. They'll also be able to go on to PowerSchool to see the grade, but they'll actually get like a copy in their email that they can print off or stick into a file or whatever they do with that.
Sorry, Bright, I was just going to give a helpful reminder. So Bright Hour is our new communication system. So as we're sending out Rams news or any other email blasts, that will be coming through that. October 15th, so this Monday, will be a good indicator to you if you're receiving those notifications or not. So if you do not receive that email notification from us indicating that the progress reports are up and live on PowerSchool, then please contact us. So either send us an email back or give us a call at the school and just say you're not receiving those. That way we can update our email information for you as well.
And then we have a second question about discipline. And I apologize to the parent who posted this. I'll try to answer this question in the best ability that I can concerning the forum, but I'd be happy to answer any further questions about it at any point in time. Kind of concerning discipline and disciplinary events, Mrs. B is kind of like our head of discipline, but typically something is reported to us either through, a student might go to a guidance counselor, they might go to a teacher, but we receive it as an administrative team and address it as soon as we get that information. Depending on the level of what occurred might result in a variety of different consequences that are highlighted in our student handbook. Those escalate all the way up to suspension and beyond. And what we mean by beyond is, there are times that we involve our school resource officer into different events. Officer Woods, he's very closely involved in a variety of things. There's nothing, we have an agreement with the Holliston Police that, there's not necessarily anything we're withholding from him. So he's always kind of a part of those conversations with us, and definitely things that might go beyond like a school suspension or the types of events that might go beyond what would be just like a typical school-based consequence. Officer Woods is definitely there to be a resource or be more intimately involved with the situation. But those things are highlighted in our handbook, and whether it's myself or Mrs. B, we'd be happy. Those who have specific discipline-based questions, be happy to talk offline about some of those options. Okay. So, wow, that went pretty quick.
That did go quick.
So we actually went 4 minutes over, but so we're definitely enjoying kind of this forum, and we, whether you're a 6th grade parent, 7th grade parent, or 8th grade parent, we're always trying to increase these options. And whether you're the person who can always be there for the live showing, or just get into the habit of showing, watching it afterwards, we have a lot of valuable things that we're trying to say. One of the first coffee talks we ever gave, one of the parents indicated that they showed it right in front of their kids as they were doing it. They watched it with their kids, and it's a great opportunity, one, for you to be able to post some questions, but also just to be able to ask, is that true? Is Mr. Jordan, is he lying? Is that the way that's happening? And the other kind of collect some feedback from your kids as well, to kind of close that loop that sometimes is created between the school, your student, and you all. So again, from myself, thank you very much. Mrs. Beatty and I you know, appreciate everything that all of you do and taking the time to listen to us. And thank you to the man behind the screen, Dr. Steiner. I think he's wearing a green shirt so that if it's a green screen, he can, you know, switch and hide in the background if he needs to. But thanks to him as well for putting this together. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.